Hi everyone, I wanted to wrap up the course with one final video. And the first thing that I want to say is thank you for your participation over the last several months. It has been a tremendous course. I think that there has been a significant amount of teaching and learning. I've appreciated very much getting to know you and hearing your thoughts. Jenny and I have been very impressed by the contributions that some of you have made to this course. Many of you have invested a great deal of time and effort, thought and consideration into your weekly discussion boards, into your monthly assignments. And what we hope and what we have seen is that you have been able to get a significant amount of progress from this course or through this course. We've really watched you develop your case studies over time, and for many of you, they're becoming clearer and more concrete. You've made decisions. You've started to, select your data collection sources. And you've done such great work. So thank you very much for all that you've done. We are almost there, not quite yet, but we have one more piece of the puzzle, and that will be your final assignment. What you've been doing over the last number of months in this course is you've been building your chapter 3, so that when and if, and I know for some of you, you may have come to the decision or the conclusion that case study is not your methodology, but when and if you do your case study, you have put many of the components of chapter 3 down in writing, and you've done this through each of the assignments and then through the weekly discussion boards. What we hope when you actually craft that chapter is that you'll come back to this course and pull the words that you've used, the thoughts that you had while we were together, and that will actually be the foundation of your study, and that will help you frame your chapter 3. But as I mentioned, there is one more very important piece to the puzzle, and this is what your final assignment will cover. You're going to write your subjectivity statement. You're going to address trustworthiness, and then you will also address how you will analyze and represent data. I want to just reiterate that as a qualitative researcher, you are a very important person, and you are being entrusted with other people's stories. And if we think about what's the most important and significant thing in this world, it is our story to tell. It is our life experience. It's how we see the world. It's how we interpret the world. And so when you interview, or when you pull together a focus group, or even when you observe other people, remember that you are being given a gift of someone else's story. They are sharing that with you, and then you will put that into the world in the way that you understand it to be. And so data analysis and data representation, how you tell the story of another person, is so significant. We want you to spend some time in this final assignment thinking through what your plan will be to analyze data, and then how you will represent it and what the challenges are in telling someone else's story. As you've seen for the last 2 assignments, this one is 3 pages. It's the same length. We're asking you to keep it concise, be very clear, whittle down your words and ideas, but take time to really think not only about yourself as the research instrument, but then your responsibility of what you do with someone else's life experience. As you get ready to write this assignment, I wanted to just call your attention to a few things. You've actually, in some ways, had the opportunity to practice critiquing other people's subjectivity statements, their trustworthiness or their trustworthiness techniques, and their data analysis. So think to our discussion on Peshkin and how you interpreted his case study, and the debate that is currently happening on our discussion board about the story of Anna and the story of Hannah. That critique will help you. What you mentioned in your critique will help you as you write your own subjectivity statement and trustworthiness and data analysis assignment. When you're writing your subjectivity statement, I'm going to ask, and for some of you this will feel much more natural than others, but I'm going to ask you to really take your analysis below the surface. So it's very easy, I was an administrator, to say that I'm connected to my research because I'm a school administrator. But what we're asking for is a much more nuanced and understanding of who you are as the researcher and how you as a instrument will affect your study. And so think of yourself being the conduit, and think of the ways that you are connected to your research that go deeper or a little bit underneath the surface. I'd also like to remind you, as you think about trustworthiness, it is very easy, particularly as a newer researcher, to create a checklist for yourself. I will do this, and I will do this, and I will do this, and I will do this. And those, 4 things or 5 things, as many as you end up with in your dissertation, will equal a valid study. Remember, in qualitative research, that is not what we're going for. The things that you will do will help increase the trustworthiness or the validity of your study. But there is no, we get no guarantees as qualitative researchers. We never get to say, my study is officially valid. What I push you to is to think of trustworthiness not as a checklist, but as a mindset. How will I question myself? How will I let other people question my representation of their data in member checks, or ask other people to review my code book? But in what ways will I continue to question what I think to be true? And remember, anytime in qualitative research that you are sure that you understand what's going on, that would be a very clear moment to question yourself, because you are looking at something through, in another person's experience. And so be very open and willing to challenge yourself. And then, as I mentioned before, you'll finish your piece with how you will analyze and how you will represent the data. And in some ways, this is, it's at the end of your dissertation. You will have done all the work along the way, but this is in many ways the most important part, because you take everything that you've learned through all of your coursework, you take everything you've learned in your study, and then you finally come up with how you understand this case to be, and that's your analysis. But lay out your plan for us so that we understand that you have thought through your plan, and then how you'll represent the data. We are very much looking forward to reading your final assignments. It is due on April 26th. Same policy as always, it'll be due by the end of the business day on the East Coast. And Jenny and I will work very hard. We've been turning them around in just about a week, and so we'll do the same thing, and you can check your final grades on Blackboard. The assignment, of course, will be turned in on Blackboard, and we do all our grading there. The only other thing that we will be working on this week is your class participation. We will do, we'll post final grades. It is worth a quarter of your full grade in this course. So if you've been looking on the grade book so far, I've updated those grades along the way, and I will post a final class participation grade this week. Your class participation grade will be a full look at how you've participated across the entire course. We are not counting responses, but in fact we're looking at how active you've been on the discussion board, how timely you've been, and how much you've engaged your peers. And some of you have done just an outstanding job of this. With that, we will just say thank you again for your participation. Of course, we are always open to your questions and comments. I very much appreciate critique and things that I can learn from, and so I'm happy to hear those, and I'm also happy to support you as you continue your journey. So please know that although I'm far away, I hopefully can be a resource to you as you build your case study. Thanks again, and we'll look forward to reading your final assignment. Anytime the assignment is posted, you can turn it in anytime between now and the 26th, but they are officially due on Sunday, April 26th. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.